Hey guys, so I wanted to talk today about what it's like being transitioned for a while and not like right out of the stages of early transition. Because I think there is a lot of differences between just starting transitioning and then being transitioned for a while. I have gone to a lot of support groups recently and I've started being more out about my transness. And a lot of these support groups, which is 100% okay, they talk about coming out, hormones, how to get on hormones, name changes, gender changes, passports, all sorts of like this trans stuff that you do like within the first year or two of transitioning. And for a lot of us that have transitioned and been transitioning for a while, a lot of the stuff is done with, and we don't have questions about this stuff anymore, but we still face trans issues. So I kind of want to give you guys just like a kind of inside view at what it's like being transitioned for a while and not having to worry about that stuff. Um, so let's start off with kind of like the negative things. So, but they're not even that negative. I think they're kind of cool because transitioning was a very awesome thing that happened to a lot of us. Still, like personally, and this is my view, I still struggle with the term trans and being trans, but um, I get to be a girl and I get to be a woman now, and that is something that I've always really wanted. So I'm kind of excited about that, and I kind of just want to explain what it's like being transitioned for a while. So one thing that's interesting about being transitioned for a while that I find is you're actually not that excited about the things that you thought you'd be excited about. Um, this is like the best way I can put it. So say that you're a kid and you have this big present underneath this Christmas tree. And for a lot of us trans people, we know what that present is. That present is the gift of being your true self. Um, and so we open that present up and we are so excited and we're just filled with all sorts of happiness and joy. And we play with that toy forever, for not forever, but for a long time. But eventually that toy gets old to us and we're kind of sick of it, and we kind of just want to move on to the next toy. And I think that's very relatable with being trans. We open this present and we get to be our true authentic self. We get to wear makeup for the first time. We get to wear the clothes that we feel fit us best and match our expression the best. We get to be perceived as who we want to be perceived, and it's something that is really, really nice to feel, but it does wear off. Um, what I've found out is now I don't really get too excited going into my closet, which is over there, and picking out an outfit. When I first started transition, that was my favorite part of the day, is finding something to wear. Now I'm just like, oh, that won't work. Another thing is I love doing makeup, and I would do my makeup crazy ways and do my hair every single day. Now I barely wear makeup, and 90% of the time I wear my hair in a braid and I call it good for the day. But a cool thing is, being a girl, you still get the option to do the girly fun things. So like 90% of the time, look like this, t-shirt, not that great, but I can still do makeup when I want and all that stuff. And I think that's one thing that's cool, is you get the freedom to choose that. And I think that's really cool. But to be honest, the excitement of this whole new girl thing, it dies off and it gets old, and kind of just move on to new stages in your life, and that's okay. And I think a lot of girls are like that, and it's not bad, it's not good, it's just what happens. You just are ready to move on with the new. So another thing is, when I first transitioned, I thought, and I had this assumption, that once you transition, and I still think a lot of trans people who do not blend or pass still believe this, but once you transition and you pass, all your issues are gone and you have no more trans issues and you just go on and live your happy little life. That is not true. I still have the word trans go through my mind like 500 times a day, and I get so annoyed of it. And my doctor that I talk to, who I'm getting SRS from, she's been transitioning for 20 years, and she goes, you know what? I have that too, and it's dysphoria. And so just a precautionary thing, trans stuff doesn't always just leave your head and disappear and you forget about it. I've heard rumors of it happening to people, but I've never actually met someone like that. So trans is always in your mind. And one thing that I think is really important is, as you guys know, even just recently, I was pretty stealth, and I didn't tell anyone I was trans. And there's still aspects of my life where I don't tell people I'm trans, but actually a lot of people now do know I'm trans. And I think it's very important that you do have a support group so you can talk to people about being trans. And I think it helps you relieve that trans in your mind all the time and just gives you an outlet to talk about it. And I think it's really important to still have that even if you've been transitioned for a while. So a couple cool things though about being transitioned for a while. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of like trans 101 things that you need to take care of when you first start transitioning, you know, like your gender marker, your name change, your passports, all that stuff. And it's very nice not to have to think about that stuff anymore. You know, when I get ID'd at the bar, I'm not going, oh shit, she's looking at my ID. No, my ID has my name on it, it has my gender marker, and I never think about that anymore. Actually, I've shot this this video twice, and the first one I didn't even think about that, but it's like that little stuff I don't even have to think about anymore. I don't have to think about what my ID looks like. I don't have to think about what my passport looks like. When I look in the mirror now, which is pretty awesome, after being on hormones for 4 years, I don't see really a male body. I mean, I'm really not going to see a male body come July. Obviously there's one part, but for the most part, I don't see a male body anymore, which is pretty satisfying. And that is something that's really nice about being transitioned for a while, is you look in the mirror and you don't see that old person that you despised before. I mean, it's really nice, and it's something that honestly you do just forget about. You don't think about that stuff anymore, and I think it's something that we need to appreciate more after being transitioned for a while, is the little things that you hated about yourself or hated about your ID, and you don't have to worry about that stuff. So I think that's a pretty cool feature about being transitioned for a while. So basically, the last thing I just want to mention about being transitioned for a while and having the euphoria of not being an early transition and that stuff is you get to live a normal life and be you. And that's something that's really special. And even though there's still struggles, like as I've been open on my YouTube, I have been really depressed this last year. But I still get to be me, which is something that's really cool. I don't have to pretend to be someone else. I get to be who I am. And for me, I've always strived to be average and normal. I mean, obviously there's some things like my hockey career and stuff like that that I want to be better, because I just want to be the best there possibly is, and I strive to be there one day. But in general, as a human, I just want to be average, you know? When I have a family, I just want that white picket fence. That's what I desire to be. And that's the cool thing about being transitioned for a while, is you start to find normalcy in your life, and you get to pick that normalcy, and you get to pick how you want to choose that life, and you get to be authentic within yourself. And I think that is something very, very special, and something all of us needs to strive to find, is that authentic self and that life where you are no longer hiding something and you just get to be yourself. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys have any questions about what it's like being transitioned for a while, definitely comment below. Other than that, I hope you folks have a fantastic day, and I will see you later. Bye.